Ooh, what is popping, people? Your boy Snacks is back in the building with another banger. Y'all know how we do. Before we get this thing started, we got to start this thing out with you, the viewer, giving you thanks for taking the time out to watch this video. But while you're here, do me a solid, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, and do not forget to turn your post notification bell on, because you know we go live and we also drop this heat. You know what I'm saying? And you know we can't start a video, not one, without giving a shout out to our wonderful, to the beautiful, the lovely CU aunties who are always on time, on point, and in support of anything that has to do with Coach Prime and CU athletics, especially his son. So when you see those ladies in the chat or in the comment section of one of my videos, make sure you be respectful and holler at them and say what's up. Now let's get the party started, because we all know what took place on Saturday. We saw it. Shedeur didn't play that well. But there's always those questions. And a lot of pros are starting to speak out. And it ain't good. It ain't looking good for the Browns when you got Hall of Famers stepping up. You got ex-pro quarterbacks stepping up. And even you got old Browns players stepping up. And then you got the management. When one of Shedeur's management's people step up, one of his friends step up and say, hey, when the same person that put the other person with the person step up, it's a problem. But we finna talk about it. Let's go. All I'm saying is something ain't right in Cleveland. When Shedeursanders exited the field on Saturday night, expecting to come back in the game for a 2-minute drill, and that wasn't made possible. And he walked down to Kevin Stefanski and was like, hey, what's up with that? I'm going to go back in the game. And Kevin Stefanski waved him off, told him no, we're not going back in the game, and into Tyler Hunt. Now, we ain't going to talk about the fact that Tony Grossi said the 3 quarterbacks on the Cleveland Browns should be Joe Flacco, Dylan Gabriel, and Tyler Huntley. That just furthers the notion that Tony Grossi is a hater. But when you got NFL quarterbacks like Derek Carr asking the questions and wanting to know, I need to understand why we don't get to see shedeursanders run this 2-minute drill when you want to see your young quarterback operate in this situation. Get him more reps in the future. I didn't see the whole game, so maybe he already showed enough. Help me understand this. Yeah, you asking the same question everybody else asking, but we know the answer. The answer was they didn't want Shedeur to snap and go crazy and score a touchdown in that 2-minute drill, even though the fact that he hadn't played great during this game. But the last thing they wanted the Cleveland Browns fan base to see was Shedeur not looking good, because they didn't want that fan base all riled up. They didn't want them asking for Shedeursanders to be their starting quarterback in the next couple of weeks. They didn't want that. So they said, hey, get him out of there. But a Hall of Famer, an NFL MVP quarterback, Kurt Warner, he want to know too. He said, I was really looking forward to the competition between Dylan Gabriel and Shedeursanders in the last preseason game. I know it played out like this sometimes, but a bummer that both of them didn't have the same opportunity to make plays. Dylan Gabriel played well again, but had good opportunities to make plays. Shedeursanders didn't have those same opportunities, so it was hard to make such an assessment. See, it ain't just the regular people asking Kevin Stefanski, what in the world is going on? Why did you not give Shedeur Sanders a chance to shine? You know, it wasn't just them. It was everybody. NFL players, retired players, Hall of Fame players, even ex-players, even Robert Griffin III had something to say about that, which is bizarre. Because we know everybody don't like RG3. And RG3 ain't top of everybody's mind. But when RG3 steps in the situation with a valid point, you have to listen. Let's go.
Make no mistakes about it. Yes, Shedeur Sanders was a 5th-round pick, but he ain't never been a 5th-round talent. That's why in his mind, he is saying, I can change a franchise if you give me the opportunity to. Right now, Cleveland is not doing that. I looked at the snap count chart. We'll throw that up for you guys on the screen. And people were saying, oh, he was playing with the same guys that Dylan Gabriel was. No, he wasn't. No, he wasn't. He was not. He was playing with the 3, 4s, and 5s offensive line. How many sacks did Shedeur have in the game?
More than 5.
No, he had 5.
He had 5?
He had 5 sacks in the game, playing behind the 3, 4, and 5 offensive line. 2 of those sacks, he held the ball too long. The other ones, he never had a chance. Wide receivers, did he play with the same wide receivers that Dylan Gabriel did?
No.
No, he didn't. When Shedeur Sanders was put out there with the proper talent around him, he excelled. 2 touchdowns. Shined on the big stage. I know it was a preseason, but it was the most watched preseason game in over a decade. Shined. But when they put him out there with talent of guys that are not going to be on NFL rosters, that was the result. So when people say, hey, they're setting him up for failure, this is what they're talking about. I believe the Browns have good intentions for all the quarterbacks in their room. I don't believe that their execution of making it look like they had the best interest of everybody in the room was there. How can you get a proper assessment of Shedeur Sanders if you don't allow him to play with the same players that Dylan Gabriel played with?
Or even give him the same opportunity of like running the 2-minute drill at the end of the game.
Which is just, again, doesn't make sense. You set yourself up for that. So I say that in closing that I believe the Browns need to trade either Dylan Gabriel or Shedeur Sanders. Because right now, it's not about it not being fair for either guy. It's not a growth or leadership environment for either guy. And that makes it a bad, toxic situation around their quarterback conversation in the media.
Now, you see that man sitting there with his Cleveland Brown jersey on. It ain't like he ain't been over there before. But that's just everybody saying the same thing. See, y'all stuck on them tropes, especially the Cleveland local media. Y'all are stuck on everybody with that racist stuff and color, which can be true. You can still have black people in the building and still be racist. That's a fact. So don't act like it ain't. Black people raised white kids back in the day, and they still didn't like them. They still kept them as slaves. They still thought they was less than. Them little white babies were sucking on them black ladies' breastises. But they were still slaves. So don't say two things can be true at one time. Just because they in the building don't mean they can't be racist. But that's neither here nor there. That's not what we talking about. We talking about the system. We talking about giving the same advantages and opportunities that you afforded everyone else. This ain't a race thing. Nobody cares about them being racist at this point. It's about being afforded the same opportunity as your teammate. if this is a quarterback competition, then the same group of players that Shedeur went out with should have been the same group of players that went off the field with Dillon Gabriel at halftime. You could have switched it up in the fourth quarter, which is true, or even gave Tyler Huntley the entire fourth quarter. But what you should have done was given Shedeur Sanders the same opportunity to be successful that you gave Dillon Gabriel, because we saw it. We already seen it. We saw it at Carolina when he had those receivers, when he had that offensive line, when he had those tight ends. It looked different. It felt different. The results were different because there were a better set of players on the field. But when you give him the guys that's going to be driving trucks with me next week, it's going to be working at FedEx and UPS and USPS, then what kind of chances does he have to succeed? When you give him guys that's running routes like they 39 years old instead of 24 years old, then that's a problem. When you give him linemen that are blocking like they getting their AARP card, when you give him left tackles that look like they should be on my son's high school team, because he getting pushed back by a freaking linebacker coming off the edge, that's a problem. That's not a fair competition. What Dillon Gabriel left off the field with is what Shedeur Sanders should have come on the field with. But Boog Knight had a few words about this after the game Sunday. And if you don't know who Boog is that boy. He part of that management squad. He also is part of Gage's management team. He put Shedeur and Gage together before the preseason so they could work out, so they could be one and have that timing when it came to working out and being part of this preseason thing in Cleveland. But let Boog. Y'all know who Boog is. If you don't know, you finna find out. Let go.
Let me tap in on this, man. Look. And these are not Shedeur words. These are not Shedeur words. This is nothing that I got from Shedeur. This is Boog speaking for Boog. I'm a grown man. I can speak for myself. I don't know how to speak for nobody else. He's a grown man. He can speak for himself. So let's get that understood first, because y'all be weird. You know, y'all be weird. So
okay,
let's talk about what I'm talking about. Everybody's trying to change the narrative about the facts. I'm a fact spitter. Like I say, stop me when I tell a lie. So for me, the performance yesterday between the Browns with the quarterbacks this is my gripe. It's not about Joe Flacco being quarterback one. Joe Flacco rightfully deserves to start out being quarterback one. And unless some changes between whenever, he deserves it. Salute to Joe. It's not about Dillon being quarterback two. Dillon played a good game yesterday. We don't care about none of that. I don't care about none of that. But what I do care about is when you tell me that it's a quarterback competition, I feel like it's not right to handicap one and then favor the others. Because if it's competition, if it's not a competition, and it's gonna be this is what it's gonna be, just say that and we cool. You won't hear a word out of me, but don't tell me it's a competition. But then you send me out there with less than, and then send somebody else out there with a whole lot more greater than, and then say, hey, make it work. Especially when you take my number one target and you let him play with every other quarterback on the roster except for me. And that's been my top target from day one. I'm just stating facts. So when we get on the field and people say, well, look at the film, look at this, look at that. Film don't tell you everything. Film don't tell you about those hundreds of reps that I had with a guy that I built so much trust with that I know that no matter what they're doing, I know where he's going to be. I know the timing gonna be on point. I know I can count on him to get open. Versus I got some guys I might not be so, and I ain't really counting up because I don't know, and I don't want to take a chance and throw it to the other team. Film don't tell you all that, but also it's another thing of. And some say, well, Gage needed opportunities. He had to, he needed every opportunity. So they played him with Joe. They played, okay, that's cool. I respect it too. So if he needed every opportunity, he played with Joe. Then he played with Dylan. Why did he not play with the guy who's targeted him the most? And then he played with the guy that came in after him, for a snap or two. So my thing is, if that's the case, why not let him play? If he need every opportunity, let him get that opportunity with his guy too. And then it ain't like it was nothing else because he returned punts and kicks for the rest of the game. He just wasn't playing with the guy that happened to target him the most. So you're going to not only take my top target from me and make me go do it with a guy that we just signed the week of the game, but you also going to give my top target for everybody else to have success with. That's what I'm getting at. Like, let's call a spade a spade. It ain't. And I hear some people like, well, I don't think coach don't want to develop Shedeur. I don't think that's the truth either. I think the coaching staff has done a great job with bringing Shedeur along and developing him. You know what I'm saying? I think they've done a hell of a job and getting to where he's at. As talented as he already is, the work they've done with him is only helping him, and he's only going to keep getting better. So that's not a gripe. That's not an issue. But what we did on yesterday, I don't see how that's good for development to send me out there handicapped. You know what I'm saying? With, hey, I ain't going to say with what, but y'all get what I'm saying. But also, don't, and then when I got a chance to redeem myself and then like, look, okay, let's go. Let me go and get this 2-minute drive now. Let me go and show you how to walk this down. Then you pull me and don't give me a chance to operate that 2-minute drive because maybe, I don't know why. But in my theory, maybe it's because if he go and he pulls it off, then now you got to hear the media talk about it all week. And maybe you don't want to hear that. That ain't what you're trying to hear right now. So again, if it's not about the quarterback competition, just say, hey, it's Joe, it's Dylan, and then it's Shedeur, and then whatever. And look, I'm cool. Simple. We ain't tripping on nothing because it's a walk down process. We got to walk this thing down. We ain't running from the fact of that, but don't sit there and, you know what I'm saying, and make it seem like something that it ain't. That's all I'm saying. Just keep it G with me is all I ask of you.
Exactly. But I just told y'all that. This ain't nothing new. They took Gage Larvadain out the game when Shedeur went in the game. And that Shedeur's number one target. That's who he's been working out with before the preseason started, before OTAs and all of that. That's his man. But you took his top target away from him, but you gave it to Joe Flacco. You gave him to Dylan Gabriel. And then after Shedeur went out the game, Gage Larvadain came back in to play with Tyler Huntley. We ain't got to say it look fishy when you putting it in our face. When the facts are there. When we can see it. Like I said, all that racism talk and sabotage talk and all that, I don't care nothing about that. I care about facts. And this ain't about, it never's been about Shedeur Sanders starting day one. If you've been on this channel, if you've been watching, been listening, I've never cared for that. I told you that. Now, after week 4, anywhere behind that, then yeah, I'm cool with him going in and doing whatever. But it's about what you did. You didn't give him a chance to do what he's really, really good at. Is in 2 minutes or less? Oh, he's a game changer. Oh, he can go get it. But you took that away from him. And then you took his top target away from him. Then you didn't give him the same or equal amount of players that you gave Dylan Gabriel and Joe Flacco. But this is a quarterback competition. It was never a competition. They have been made up their mind what they wanted to do. But you tried to make the world and the fans think that we were stupid and don't believe your lying eyes. Don't believe what you see. Don't believe that Shedeur was that good. you know, don't believe Shedeur was that good. But y'all understand, I'm finna show y'all why. But y'all think that we just be talking. I'm gonna let somebody else explain it to you. Mr. PFF himself and his cohort tell you the reason why they didn't let Shedeur run that 2-minute drill.
Between now and 4 o'clock Eastern tomorrow.
Yeah, certainly. I get that too. I mean, listen, we got Dallas, Detroit, right? We've talked about with backup quarterback situation, the Raiders and their situation with Aiden O'Connell hurt now, right? So there's 3 teams right off the bat, just off the top of my head. Okay, let's hit on the first thing you said. Shedeur Sanders doesn't get to play the 2-minute drill. No crap, everybody. Because the Cleveland Browns weren't going to let Shedeur Sanders go down there and get a touchdown and start a groundswell for all the mouth breathers on Instagram to go, look, he should be a starter. He should start now. He drove them down against the 5th stringers against the Eagles. He should start now. He should start the NFL season. They weren't going to let that happen, right? And especially after the way he played and the way he looked, they weren't going to let that happen and be a distraction for their football team. So let's squash that right.
Okay. I ain't even got to say nothing else. But y'all think we tripping. I don't have to say nothing else. That man said it all. But Emory Hunt said Kevin Stefanski is the reason why. Run it up.
A lot of times with these coaches and coaches like Kevin Stefanski, it's ego over execution. It's plays over players. At the end of the day, you got to give this kid a shot to redeem himself. That's the beauty of being a rookie. You're going to go out there, you're going to struggle, you're going to have some success, you're going to struggle again, but you want to see them come out on the other side. Now, Shedeur had in that situation to go out as a winner. And again, it's not just we all see it. Players on the team sees it. Players on the opposing team see it. They know what's going on. They know what's going down, but it's all about Kevin Stefanski's ego. We saw this with Baker Mayfield. Oh, it doesn't fit my system. Well, your system has to be about the players that are in it. And we've seen him do this because the offense was completely different when Dylan Gabriel was out there. It was a lot of, short, quick passes to get the ball out of his hands, spread the formation, which is great. That's what you're supposed to do for a guy that thrives in that situation. So I don't know why for Shedeur the offense changed. He kind of wanted to curate something around him. But at the end of the day, Shedeur recognized he had to play better. That game looked a lot like that UCLA game his first year in Colorado. But I blame Stefanski for how he's handled this whole situation because it doesn't look very coach of the year leadership-like to me.
Oh, boy. The bombs have been dropped today. We ain't got to say no more. We going to get out of here. So y'all hit the like button. Hit the subscribe button. Please, make sure you turn your post notification bell on because we dropping bombs. And the NFL is talking. It ain't just me. It ain't just Twitter. It ain't just the internet. It's Hall of Famers, Pro Bowl quarterbacks, legendary coaches. All of these people are not seeing the same thing and asking the same question, and all of them are wrong. It ain't about Shedeur's last name. It's about his last name to you guys, because that's why we in this situation. We support the player. He just happened to be famous. I'm gonna get out of here, man. Y'all make sure y'all hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Do not forget to turn your post notification bell on, or we gonna run this thing up. Kevin Stefanski.
You about to lose your job.
We gonna get out of here, man. I'm gonna holler at y'all. I'm out. Peace.